In the pre-dawn hours of August 13, 2018, in a quiet Colorado suburb, a picture-perfect American dream vanished. The sprawling homes of Frederick, Colorado, were a symbol of success, of new beginnings. And at 2825 Saratoga Trail, the Watts family seemed to be living it. But behind the smiling social media posts and the pristine facade, a darkness was brewing, a darkness that would culminate in one of the most shocking and heartbreaking family annihilations in recent memory.
And we do have some breaking news. New audio and video files have been released online in the Christopher Watts case. So many, in fact, that the link has crashed. Channel 2 investigative reporter Rob Lowe joins us.
This is the story of Shanann Bella Celeste and Nico Watts, a story of love, lies, and a brutal betrayal. Shanann Watts was a vibrant, outgoing woman in her mid-30s. She was a mother to two beautiful little girls, 4-year-old Bella and 3-year-old Celeste Ortiz, and she was 15 weeks pregnant with their third child, a boy they planned to name Nico. Through her social media, Shanann curated an image of a happy, thriving family. Her husband, Chris Watts, worked as an operator for Anadarko Petroleum. They had a beautiful new home, nice cars, and these two adorable, bubbly little girls. To the outside world, they had it all. Chris was often described as quiet, reserved, the polar opposite of his effervescent wife. But in her posts, he was the doting husband, the involved father. The picture was complete. But in the weeks leading up to that fateful August, the picture began to crack. Shanann had been away in North Carolina for several weeks with the girls. During that time, Chris's behavior changed. He became distant, emotionally unavailable over the phone. Shanann confided in her friends that she was worried. She sensed a shift. Unbeknownst to her, Chris had begun an affair with a co-worker, Nico Kessinger. The quiet family man was leading a double life. The financial pressures were also mounting. The house, the cars, the lifestyle, it was all more expensive than it appeared. The dream was built on a fragile foundation of debt. Shanann and the girls returned home from their trip late on the night of August 12th. A friend dropped them off around 1:48 a.m. Just a few hours later, the nightmare began. At approximately 5:15 a.m., Chris is seen on his own home security camera, loading something into his truck. He would later claim this was just work gear, but the timing was suspicious. Later that morning, Shanann missed a doctor's appointment. Concerned friends, unable to reach her, went to the house. They found the door locked, her car in the garage, her purse inside, and her phone left on the kitchen counter. The girls were gone. Chris was at work, acting strangely calm.
But I just want them back. I just want them to come back.
In this now infamous interview, Chris Watts pleaded for his family's return. But viewers and investigators were immediately skeptical. His words sounded rehearsed. His emotions seemed performative. As police began their investigation, the inconsistencies in Chris's story piled up. He claimed Shanann had taken the girls for a playdate, but he couldn't say where. He said they had an emotional conversation that night, but his timeline was shaky. Police quickly discovered his affair with Nico Kessinger. The motive was becoming clear. Meanwhile, a neighbor did something crucial. He provided his own home security footage to police. It showed Chris's truck in the exact position. His own camera had mysteriously glitched for over an hour that morning. The walls were closing in. The following day, during a polygraph test which he failed and a subsequent interrogation, the dam finally broke. He first confessed to killing Shanann in a rage after he saw her strangling their daughters. A story so heinous, and as it would soon be revealed, so utterly false.
There was no wrong thing, or... And this, polygraph failed it. When we had that conversation that morning, it was emotional, it was... What happened after that? Protect you.
Under the weight of the evidence and a looming plea deal, Chris Watts led investigators to the grim truth. He had smothered his precious daughters, Bella and Celeste, in their beds. He had then loaded their small bodies into his truck, along with the body of his pregnant wife, Shanann, whom he had strangled. He drove them to a remote oil site owned by his company, Anadarko. There, he dumped Shanann's body in a shallow grave. And in an act of unspeakable callousness, he shoved the bodies of his two little girls into separate, narrow old tanks, 8 inches in diameter, through hatches at the top.
One time for each of their bodies. He then drove them away from their family home one final time.
On November 6, 2018, to avoid the death penalty, Chris Watts pleaded guilty to multiple counts of first-degree murder. He was sentenced to 5 life sentences without the possibility of parole. A community and a nation was left to grieve. The Ruchek family, Shanann's parents, lost their daughter and grandchildren in one brutal act. So, what drives a man to do this? Was it the affair, the financial pressure, a desire for a completely new life, unencumbered by his family? Psychologists point to a combination of narcissistic personality traits, profound cowardice, and a shocking lack of empathy. He saw his family not as people to love, but as obstacles to remove. In the end, the perfect life on social media was a mask, and behind it was a monster. Shanann, Bella, Celeste, and Nico Watts are more than just victims of a crime. They are a stark reminder that we can never truly know what happens behind closed doors. Their story is a tragedy that shattered a dream, leaving behind only memories, questions, and a profound sense of loss. They deserved so much more. May they rest in peace. If you or someone you know is in an unsafe relationship, please seek help. You are not alone. National Domestic Violence Hotline, 1-800-799-7233.